Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy whatever day it is that you're having. If you're having a sunny day, excellent. Of course, here in Arizona, we have always a very sunny day. Usually, like, there are 350 days of the year, 360 days of the year. So, for those of you on the replay, I'm really happy that you're going to take the time to take a watch if you weren't able to make it in person, because I have a lot of content here for you to use today. Literally on the call today, we're going to be doing the things that I'm recommending, okay? So let's go. All right. First thing is I have a story. So imagine me or possibly yourself in the middle of the night waking up because your asthma, your lungs, your breathing is tight and you're starting to feel, and this is, by the way, a very normal thing. Every so often, I would either be triggered by a cold or some kind of virus, or sometimes exercise. But I would wake up in the middle of the night. And this one particular night, and this is after doing a lot of the things that I'm going to be teaching you today, I woke up in the middle of the night. I had this tense feeling in my chest. And I knew in this moment that I had the choice of either doing what I was taught and what I learned myself, or going to the emergency room, getting on the antibiotics, getting on the nebulizer, which is the breathing machine, getting on steroids, and then toxifying my system for at least 2 weeks, and then having to restart my gut biome and everything. So what I did was I made the choice to use my tools, and I chose to not accept the disease. And I went right into my breath work and my conscious awareness of my choices. And we're going to go into that right now because you will understand better what I'm talking about. But that was the first night in my whole life that I had that moment of, I either am going to the ER, because I made a deal with myself, a pact. I said, this doesn't work tonight because we're going to really do this tonight. If it doesn't work, we're going to the emergency room. And that part of myself that felt insecure and unsafe said, that is a deal, and I'm going to take you up on it. If you are still sick and if you're still not feeling like that we're going to get through this. And by the way, it was a real fear of death, because those of you with asthma know what I'm talking about. Because if you can't breathe, you can't live. And this is huge for me. So very close to heart. All right, so, and of course I have my disclaimer at the bottom, okay? And that is just for all of you to know that I am not a doctor. This doesn't replace your regular doctor's thing, but it will work alongside. All right, so let's go. First of all, for those of you who are here listening to the replay, I want to tell you you are awesome. You're totally awesome for being here and taking a moment to take care of you. And I'm here for you, okay? I could be sitting on the couch with my cats and I'm not doing anything good to the world. So here I am because I really want to help humanity to get better, especially with asthma, which is the thing that was burdening for me. Okay. First thing is, before we get started, I'm not here to just sell you essential oils, kits, and things like that. Yes, I do have offerings. Yes, I will talk about them later, but I just wanted to disclose that right up front. Yes, it's a free webinar, masterclass, but I have offerings, okay? There. So, found a really cool quote. The doors to the world of the wild self are few but precious. If you have a deep scar, that is a door. If you have an old, old story, that is a door. If you love the sky and the water so much you almost cannot bear it, that is a door. And hopefully you'll know what I mean by this as we move along. Here are some facts. The problem is over 260 million people last year were documented as having asthma in the world, yes. and over almost 500,000 deaths were attributed to um, asthma, and 96% of these were low to middle income countries due to the high costs and the lack of access to treatments. So this is really, really very distressing to me because, especially when I know that it can be treated in different ways than we know of, it is being taught to us. Okay, why you're here today? You're a mom or dad, and you want to learn what tools I taught myself to heal with simple changes, and you want to improve your whole family's health as well as your own. Who this class is for? If you are sick and tired of hearing about and trying different ways to heal naturally, and they don't work. You've tried all this stuff, you've put crystals on your forehead, which by the way is not a bad idea, but I'm just saying, if you only do that, you're probably not going to get to where you want to be. You want to live your life deciding your own health goals, empowering yourself with the tremendous joy of living without having to rely on inhalers, steroids, or other pharma. And you want to create a toolbox that you can use any day you need it, in any moment. And there have been times when I literally stopped at the front door because I was about to leave the house and I felt wheezing happen. And I was like, oh, remember? And I literally stopped in my tracks. So if you want this exact thing, which is, I stopped in my tracks and I said, I can choose. And here are some things, which I'll tell you in the next couple of slides, things to ask yourself and to help your inner self to overcome this exact moment. Now, if you're here today, it's probably because not the reasons which I'm going to tell you, which if you're not willing to get quiet and allow yourself to hear your inner guidance system, or you don't like being a little different than society because, yeah, you're going to have to shift. I'm sorry to tell you, and at the same time, I'm happy to tell you that you can. You want to go out there and start wearing the striped pants with the cool, crazy hat? I mean, it's kind of like that. Also, if you have no interest in healing your chronic health problems and be free, then this is not for you. And you can keep listening, but I'm just trying to tell you that that's who it's not for. So let's do this. Let's make it a reality. And this woman here on the right, this is not me, but it is exactly my situation. If you can imagine me sitting in a freaking hospital bed with this nebulizer, crying, because I usually go to the emergency room crying, because here I am again in the hospital on a nebulizer, being jacked up with lots of medicines, and knowing that, however, it would heal me temporarily. It would help me, but no more am I relying on these things. I'm free. So I want this for you. So my mission is I want to empower as many women and moms to know that they can learn how to heal themselves so they can also heal their whole lives and family, and in the grand scheme of things, transform and improve the healthcare system for our future generations. Yeah, I'm going to check one thing. Okay. All right. So that is my mission. What we're going to cover today is how to connect your emotions to paper, how to shift the food that you eat, how to support your healing with breathwork, relaxation, and simple hands-on movements. Okay, so we're going to do that. Start right now. But first, about me, I'm Jackie Olmsted, in case you didn't know me. I'm a visual sound healer who helps moms and women to connect to their inner selves and guides so they can heal themselves, by themselves, with the community around them who hopefully supports what they're doing. I reversed my asthma and hypoglycemia and now live symptom-free from celiac disease, Hashimoto's, all by changing my environment that affects 100% of my well-being. So I enjoy food freedom and a carefree life without any guilt or breaking the bank. And I have helped countless moms finally understand what their bodies are trying to tell them. All right, let's get started. If you're ready to dive in, wave your hands in the air. Woo! Okay, let's go. So my goal today is show you exact secret tools I use to heal my own asthma, to empower you with the confidence that yes, you can do it, and also that you can finally use your own body and mind to support your healing. Okay, first thing. So highly recommend this book, How to You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. She's an amazing, she started her whole company foundation with all the books on healing and everything. If you haven't read this book or have seen it or heard of it, I highly recommend it. So this is the nugget of truth for asthmatics. Asthma is connected to fear and feeling overwhelmed and not feeling safe. So it's the rooted belief that we're feeling is it's not safe for me to be here in this world. And it's especially common when someone feels controlled or smothered. And by the way, these three things take time. If not right now, later. For those of you on the replay, I would pause this slide and just feel into these words, because this is what absolutely changed the baseline of the ability to talk to my inner self. So feeling controlled or smothered, that was me, absolutely growing up. 2, afraid to assert independence, responsible for others' emotions. So what we do is we flip it to the other side. So when I mentioned stopping at my front door, because I started feeling the wheezy thing, I immediately asked myself, do I feel safe? Do I feel safe to be in this world? Do I feel free to breathe fully and deeply? And start saying, I feel safe. It is safe for me to be in this world. I trust life, and I am courageous. And you know what? This all could be sounding like fluff, and I get it. It took me years to really embody this and understand it and take it to heart. I used journaling, and I used a partner, like a coach, to work with this and to really get to the core of this. So it's extremely potent medicine. This is my first, when I started to start healing myself, this is where I needed to start. Okay, so I didn't realize how deeply I was holding on to this. My asthma flared most when I felt overwhelmed. So it still comes up, you know. I'm a human being. I'm still participating in this lifetime. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed. Sometimes I feel emotionally responsible for others and afraid to fully step into adulthood and my own authority. Okay, so life is cyclical. We have things come up. And by the way, having asthma, it was like my body learned at 6 months old that this is how I respond to life, is I start wheezing. But retraining it, I can now talk to that part of myself that thinks that the only way that I can cope with life is to have wheezing and to not be able to breathe. Okay? So this is important to you because it is huge. It's just these key important things, just what I was saying. Start tapping into your own story. So this showed up in my life because these affirmations, again, it's not about positive thinking. It's rewiring. And if you know Dr. Joe Dispenza, you'll know that the rewiring of our brain is absolutely possible and absolutely doable. So these beliefs that I talk about is the master of all the core tools that I use to heal my asthma. So on to the first secret. So the arts help children and adults learn to say what cannot be said. The arts enable us to have experience we can have from no other source, and through such experience to discover the range and variety of what we are capable of feeling. There are two distinct languages. There's the verbal, which separates people, and there is the visual that is understood by everybody. And did you know, by the way, I've always been an artist. From 3 years old and on, as soon as they gave me a crayon and some paint to sling around, I've always been an artist. And so it's always been a channel for me to visualize my own thoughts, or even images from dreams that I couldn't verbalize. Literally, just being able to write things out, or drawing a square because that's what was in my dream. It doesn't even matter that I knew the reason for it or the meaning. So fast forward to about 10 years ago, this is when I was actually battling extreme anemia, depression, and suicide. When I was diagnosed with celiac disease, it was a major wake-up call for me, and my coach at the time asked me a very important question. Jackie, did you know that you don't have to accept your disease, referring to my asthma, and that you can choose to be free? And from that moment, it flipped the switch. It like rocked the boat to a tipping point of realizing that, oh my gosh, I actually could choose this. Because not only she's asking me the question, but it spoke to the part of myself that, excuse me, it spoke to the part of myself that wanted to hear this. I wanted to hear this question because it was true. And that from that call forward, I started with weekly drawings, and I just simply kept going from there. So, secret number 1 is connecting your emotions to paper. So, yeah, that's the story. I just told it. So what we're gonna do right now, and we can do this. This can be also for an exercise for later, so that we can just simply give you the content that you can use. If okay, so if you promise that you'll do this later, take 10 minutes later on to do this exercise. I'm going to walk through it with you right now, and I think this is the best option. Because I think last night I was deciding that I think I will do this masterclass more than once because I feel that it's really important, and I think that I can even offer this to locals, to like libraries and things. So I really want to empower as many people as possible to see this and feel this truth. All right, so we're just gonna take this later. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so we're gonna take this time. So I'm gonna give you some tips on how to do this, okay? And by the way, for anyone who's registered, you're going to get a copy of this, so you don't have to worry about taking notes or screenshots, although if you want to, you can. So there's no right way. Absolutely no right way. And it's about letting your body and emotions speak through your hand, but it's going to take practice, especially if you've never done this. Especially for those of you who say, I'm not an artist. There's no way. I can't even draw a straight line. Okay, I'm talking to you. And I always say, if you can sign your name on a document, you're an artist. So anyone is an artist, okay? Because look, wait till you see. Oh, but you are. When you see my drawings, the first ones that I was doing, you'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, I can do that, okay? And so, so these are some questions to ask yourself. How does your hand want to move? You know, literally just taking the pencil or pen, the paper, and you're just gonna have it open, and you're not gonna care about the paper being, quote, ruined or anything, okay? Is the line slow or fast? Heavy? Is it barely touching the paper? Or is it like, you know, because that's how you're feeling. If you're mad at your husband or your kid, or and you're just like, and you just, or it's just like la 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 la, and you just, it, it's translation, okay? In the most primal form. Scribble, press hard, shake. Notice without judging. So notice your breath. Do you feel tension, relief, resistance, softness? Do you start getting anger coming up, sadness, crying, calm, humor, confusion, um, defiance? I mean, I've had all of these things when I've done my drawings, okay? Here for I'm gonna start I'm gonna show you some of my stuff. Look, this is what I started with. And by the way, I went to art school, okay? So it's not about having the degree or having to be perfect or rendering the hand that is so perfectly, Michelangelo. Stop it. Stop that, okay? This is just marks on paper. Just how do I feel? This day, I was saying no. And I was just angry. I'm like, no. And I'm not coming out. I'm not talking. I don't care what you're telling me to do, coach. I was talking to my coach, I think. I don't know. Who knows? Then I started getting like a little bit more interesting. So the left one is about abundance. How do I feel? Because I started doing this weekly with my coach. I felt abundance. So what does it feel like? I feel like this. All my limbs are out, and I'm like, ah. Water's like flowing all around me. And then lack. What does lack feel like? I felt like, so visually I put a cocoon, and like all my parts were within. And so I just kept going, and yeah, I saved these things, but it's not like these are not like things to put on the wall because they're perfect masterpieces. Okay, it's not what it's for. Then I started adding to it and getting a little bit more. So I felt more abundance, and yeah, it's a little naked lady, but whatever. That's just me. Okay, then here's a crazy exercise. My coach at the time said, "You're feeling all this overwhelm. Let's do a different exercise. So just draw a plate, like a dinner plate. Like pretend you're at dinner. What is all the stuff you're bringing to the table? Okay? All the crap in my life that was in my brain that was stressing me out. I put all the things. And I can't see the, why can't I see the chats? Because the way I have it. Hold on. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, baggage. It is baggage. And here's the thing. So what this one taught me was that I can put it somewhere temporarily so that I could not have it all in my brain right now. And it's in a safe place. It's not that I'm forgetting all about it. Yeah, lightening the load. Exactly. And so that I took that. And by the way, I think I did actually put this one on the wall to know that it's like the other part of my brain is taking care of this stuff. And I had it there for, I think, like a month. And then finally at one point I took it down. I was like, okay, I get it now. And then, by the way, see that little sentence on the left? It's hard to read, but it says, I have been so bland. I don't even know how to describe what that means. Like, I don't even know what it means. Like, in therapeutic terms, all I know is that it made me feel better to write it down. Who knows? But I felt bland. So that one I actually had words for. But, okay, here's some more. Just, you know, more drawings. And see, look, stick figures. Yeah, this is just how I felt. My hair was straight on end, and I felt like so nervous. And it's funny because my drawings, my paintings, which you can see in my background here, some people will ask me, what do they mean? And the artist part of me sometimes gets annoyed. Oh, yes, that's true. I love that. Absolutely great for kids because You know, a lot of the certified art therapists will use this extra type of exercise for kids, especially when they're having trauma and they're needing to express it, because kids at certain ages, there is no way they can use words to describe it. For example, for me to tap into my 6-month-old, there is nothing verbal about that child except for crying, yelling. So how am I supposed to deal and therapize, or whatever the word is, how am I supposed to help my 6-month-old as an adult with actual adult words? That's not possible. So art is an excellent way. Now, this is another exercise that my coach asked me to do, and it's a drawing of me of my daughter. And I could actually expand upon this for the moment really quick, because I know that for those of you on the replay, this is an exercise that I was feeling very vulnerable at work at the time. There was actually a woman who was physically approaching me and like touching me. It was very odd. It was very weird. But it's interesting that this was happening because of I have had trauma in my past, okay? I mean, most of us have, but at the time I couldn't figure out what to do, because this in the moment was urgent. I needed to adjust this because I needed to stop it right now, because I'm an adult and I don't know how to. So she taught me the skill of the egg. So visually creating the egg, safe space around ourselves, is called the egg exercise. Before I go into an environment that I knew that would possibly be dangerous or potentially confrontational, I would put the egg around myself and put in the egg with me the most safe person I know in the entire world with me. And still is my daughter. And so I visualized this egg, and I decided to do a drawing of it, because being an artist, it was the best and easy thing for me to do, to be able to capture this. So this is an exercise for you out there who need it. If you need this kind of exercise, wrap yourself in your egg and then go into a space. And by the way, this worked immediately. That woman, that one day, by the way, the first time I tried this, I walked in that office and she immediately came at me. And it's so interesting. My reaction was I ducked. I literally squatted on the ground and I walked away, and as if I didn't give a shit. And I didn't, because I knew I was safe. And the woman looked at me and she was like, what are you doing? And I went like this and I walked away, and she never did it again. So there's no way for me to exactly describe to you how I did it. It was energetic. It was a physical thing that I did with my own self mentally, and I protected myself. So it doesn't even matter the how, except for you knowing how, because you can use this, okay? So, blah, blah. You guys know this. Pretty much you'll discover that you'll know your own medicine, okay? And you'll start getting used to this if you do this, if you give yourself the exercise weekly of creating what your medicine is, drawing, making scratches on paper, making just straight lines that are zigzaggy, whatever you'll find. Get curious. Seek community or resources that feel safe and aligned, or consider working with a coach or a guide who can help you, okay? Number 2 secret, shifting the food that you eat. The book that changed it all, actually I have a couple, but the first one is Yum Universe. It's a book by Heather Crosby, and I probably could put that on here next time, but it actually broke it down for me, the engineer type of my brain, who was like, I don't get this. Like, how am I supposed to change my food? Because the doctor told me this is the story that'll probably tell you. My notes will tell me to tell you in a second, but yeah, that's now. Okay. So the doctor called and said, you have celiac disease. It says urgent and important that you immediately, right now, stop eating gluten in all forms right now. And it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Got off the phone. Oh, and he said, oh, yeah, I'll see you on your next appointment for your follow-up. And I was like, what? Wait, and he's like, yeah, good luck. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Now what do you do? I was like, okay. So this is what I had to do. It took me, yeah, exactly. I had to Google my life. I had to Google what the heck do I do now? I took actually a year and a half total to completely heal, get to a place of now I know what to do. And then, by the way, at that time, I was stressed out from every moment forward, and I declared that I wasn't stressed out about it. But I would walk into a restaurant and I'd be stressed. So, okay. These are my suggestions. For 1 week, journal what you're eating and the symptoms of what you're experiencing currently for everything you put in your body. 2, make a list of what you're replacing. For me, it was, okay, gluten is the first priority. Number 3, take time at the grocery store when you can. When you can. Because I know you're busy moms or busy entrepreneurial people out there. I get it. So, a bonus tip is how you store food. Glass is best. Avoid plastic at all costs. I know that glass is heavier and can be a pain, probably, but it is so important. And there's a gajillion reasons to not have plastic. And please, 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 please do not microwave with plastic. If you're going to use the microwave, and I cheat because, yes, I'm a mom, I do cheat sometimes with the microwave, but I absolutely don't put plastic in the microwave because it releases all of the toxins, even if it says BPA free. Okay, enough on that one. So, in all my Googling, yes, in all my book reading, and the other book I wanted to mention really quick is How Not to Die. That's the scientific way. That's all the medical research book. It's like this thick. Half of it is the medical stuff and stories. The other half is all of the content about what to eat in a whole foods plant-based diet, okay? I replaced gluten immediately. I replaced processed foods right away. And why? The why is glyphosate. I think of Roundup. And by the way, they have been sued like crazy. If you don't already know, they've been forced to pay millions, if not billions, for causing cancer. It's now like actually resolved in effect. So glyphosate, and now this is actually the thing that I focus on the most to get rid of or stay clear of. So organic, processed foods, no, organic, non-processed foods. But if you have processed foods, by the way, just seek the most organic as possible. Why should asthmatics specifically care about glyphosate? So about 70 to 80% of your immune system lives in the gut. These are some reasonings why tiny helpers in your gut send messages to your lungs. When your gut is healthy, your body has less swelling. A healthy gut can help you breathe easier and may help out your asthma symptoms, especially if you're doing all the other things I'm teaching you, okay? I'm putting a chart out there for you guys who love charts. I do like charts, but if you hate charts, I'll explain it, okay? So here, this is when they started spraying the stuff, this glyphosate stuff, onto corn and soy, 1990. The occurrences of inflammatory bowel disease, and by the way, this same line going up is the same for every cancer, every disease that comes out, it's the same. So I could show you the same chart for all of them. It has different numbers, but it's the same going up. So you can see it gets worse and worse and worse. And over the years, what's that? 20 years later, look how much irritable bowel disease and Crohn's disease. My realtor died 2 years ago of Crohn's disease. She was like 63. Really sad. And I wish I could have been able to help her. Anyway, that being said, it's just disgusting. It makes me so sad. It's like, feels like a waste and such sadness because I know that if we only help more people know about this, we can help them. Okay. So as I moved along, by the way, I didn't do this overnight. It took me at least a year and a half to be completely through all my transition. Okay. So I encourage you to take your time. I replaced all dairy with plant-based milks, plant-based cheeses, anything plant-based. All animal products, all animal byproducts. Okay, it takes time. I get it. It takes a little bit of time to learn. Here's the master thing. You're not actually reducing the amount of food that you're eating. You're reducing what you knew, but you're increasing what you didn't know was already out there. There's so much more nuts and grains and fruits. And those of you who live in other countries, you know that there are all kinds of fruits and vegetables that aren't even available in the United States. Or if we get them, it costs $12 for one of them because it's imported, yeah? We call them exotic, but where you are, they might be not exotic. So what if you don't have enough time, money, space, or even feel overwhelmed? I had a feeling you might ask. So this is a bonus to all the things that I offer. So this is just, I'm going to put this out there for you, and this is what I did, and I wish I had back in 2015, but I didn't have it. So this is a bonus for you, and I'm going to click here. So you can do this. This actually replaces 2 out of 3 meals of your day. All right, but I'm going to move forward because this is just a bonus in my whole master plan. It's a master plan, okay? So this, I want to tell you. So my quick story is that when I was standing in the grocery store, this is around the time when I was still trying to figure stuff out. I was in the processed food section of the natural foods. I was so overwhelmed. I stopped and I just was like sobbing because I was like, I can't do this anymore. Why me? And I felt like such a victim and like, why do I have to deal with this? This is such BS. And and I felt just like crumbled to like a nothing little mouse. And I'm like looking around at the other people around me. Why can't I be like them? Why can't I eat the crap? Why can't I eat Doritos? Come on. Well, I think that later I eventually figured it out that I'm here to help with the people who are sick because I did actually press on through it. I did. Here I am. And I'm proof, and I do need to remind myself because I do forget. Number 3, this is my third secret, okay? And this is really funny because before this recording, before this call today, I lit some incense. And it's funny because I immediately started sneezing and getting a little bit more mucusy. And I was like, what am I doing to myself? I'm trying to like teach, healthy things. And apparently that particular incense is not good for me. So, we learn as we go. Just is what it is. So you only need your body for this exercise. And this is helping you get clear on what has worked for you in the past. All right, so breath work was the third element, was essential for my getting my asthma in a place of working. My lungs started working again. This is what was the functional element. So this one I'm going to do really quick with you. And then I have 2 other breathwork exercises, okay? And I'm going to encourage you to practice these and adopt one as your go-to at all times. So this one here is placing a hand on your chest and one in your stomach. And this is optional because I literally don't do this myself. But putting the tongue on the roof of your mouth, I don't know why the yogis want you to do that. I know there's a real reason, but I'm kind of one of those people that doesn't like to always follow the rules. But so breathe in deeply through your nose and count to 4. Feel your stomach pushing out first instead of your chest, okay? Hold your breath and count to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then breathe out through your mouth for a count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's the full sequence. And 478, it's called 478. Dr. Weil's book, any of his books are excellent. One of the breathing techniques that I used, I don't use this one all the time, but it's excellent. Here's the next one. This is the Vox method. A lot of you might know this already. 4 breathing in, 4 holding, 4 breathing out, and then 4 holding at the bottom without any breathe. Push all the air out. So breathing. And what the breath work taught me was that I was afraid to breathe my whole life. Why? Number 1, because it would indicate to myself that there was something wrong. And I didn't ever want to talk about that there was something wrong with me, because I had to go to my dad, who, by the way, is a physician, which is a whole nother story and something to talk about. But I would need to go to him and tell him, Dad, it's that time. I need to go to the emergency room. Can you imagine? If my daughter would come to me today and tell me that, I probably would be like, horrified, scared, all the things, as a parent I know now. But so me not wanting to breathe makes sense now. This is retraining you to breathe, especially if you have asthma or any lung issues. So I encourage you to pick one of these 3. Here's the next one. Now this one, actually there are 2. There's this one and the next one. This is from the book Ripped at 50. And if you haven't heard of Troy Casey, his name is the Certified Health Nut on social media. He teaches a lot of what I teach, but much different method. Not only being a guy, but like, for example, I'll mention it real quick. But today I noticed he posted a video about going outside and sunning naked and all the parts. Yeah. So he does it differently. I'm not going to go outside naked. I don't have a backyard where I can sun my parts naked, but apparently it's really healthy for you. And I love that he does this, and I think it's fabulous. However, it is not my way. If I could, I would, but oh, your neighbors, yeah, the neighbors. Yeah, that would also. My neighbors definitely would all come out of their houses and probably call the police. I don't need the police coming for that reason. For Jackie's gone mad. She's outside naked, rocking on the ground, showing her private parts. Okay, so I digress. So pick one of these 2. These are awesome. This one's called Bastrika. And this is an Indian method of breath work. It's, by the way, if you're having panic attacks, use this, okay? I'm flagging this slide. Use this slide. So, use this one. Okay, next. Hands-on by sport. So this is a huge segment. I won't go into a lot of detail because I want to honor your time. So, by the way, does any of this or all of this at all, is this helpful? So I need to ask. Okay, fantastic, because this is why I'm here, and I need to always make sure I get input. Excellent. So I'm a polarity therapist. I'm a Reiki master teacher. These are things that you can do for yourself. The wood chop or the ha breath, is excellent at getting anger out physically. So not only with breath work and the eating and the drawing, this and I'm stretching because I was getting tight in my back, but literally if you're squatting, if you can squat, if you can't squat, don't worry. Either use a yoga block under your butt or put a bunch of pillows under you and you can still do this exercise, or just lean over, hands on the knees, and I'm going to do it for you once so you actually can hear what it sounds like. So it's not a ha, it's not that, it's this. Ha! Like that. It's kind of loud and you, yes, I probably scare my neighbors. I do this exercise and I probably scare the neighbors, but you feel the force? It comes from completely within and it just pushes it right out. This is super. If you do this for 10 minutes straight, I dare you, or even 5 minutes straight. By the way, Dr. Randolph Stone up here, he was a Pisces, like me. He lived till about 95, and he passed away in, I believe it was the 70s. So he traveled the world and he learned all kinds of therapies. So this uh, this will indicate to you when your wheezing starts. Know that you're either processing physically grief or fear. And it's okay. We all have this. To recap, all right, you've used sketching to connect your emotions, how to shift the food that you eat, and how to support your healing with breathwork, relaxation, and simple hands-on movements. So these are some words from others who have worked with me, okay? So Christine was feeling disconnected from her higher self and ended up with being able to connect later, even in a dream, and was able to figure out something that had to do with one of her relationships. Diane, she had been having massive, debilitating migraines, and she couldn't figure it out. So instead of trying to work through it the old way, which is taking pharmaceuticals or going to bed for 3 days straight, she had an easing of migraines, where she was able to get also clarity as to why her migraines were even happening in the first place. Her body was answering because we were able to get to the core, and it's not always a straight line, yes? Okay, and Penny had a tumor. And we had conversations with her tumor, and she wanted to call it her pomegranate. A really just kind of like a cute little name for a part of her to help her know that it was actually a part of her and to not demonize it. It's so important to not demonize our bodies. It's important to know that this is all of us, even the energetic aura around ourselves. And so within a month of working with me, she had a doctor diagnose a really a big reduction in the size of the lump, and she felt a lot better and no longer needed sessions. And I will say, by the way, she still had the surgery scheduled to remove it, but it was a lot less smaller, and they were able to do it laparoscopically. Okay, so also I think that it was not malignant anymore. It wasn't malignant either. So it's just we don't know until we look and talk to our bodies. So what is your dream outcome? Let's talk about it. From, say, for myself, it was from not being able to digest any food to being able to digest food, finally, in 3 months. That was what I wrote down at the time. It was like, what am I wanting to do? Or for not wanting to, from being fearful about eating foods or eating out to being complete, having freedom and not worrying about what I eat in 3 months. So if you're ready to learn about how to make that a reality, you can tell me yes or no. This is my entry-level This is my excellent program, How to Heal Your 3 Facets in 3 Months. And so, yes, I mentioned I was going to show you my offering. This is my offering of 3 months. This is actually weekly calls, and you get sound healing and any of these type of modalities that I have, I will offer to you weekly, whatever makes sense the most. Breathwork and grounding, sound, oracle cards, your one-time birth astrological chart if you haven't had that before, nutritional support, and that was the thing I showed you earlier. That's just included, and personal availability care. Total market value, 23,194. Now, so I'm offering today for $18.85 for 2 days, 48 hours, and you're saving $460. But wait, there's more. So my premium offering is all of that, plus you get every week you get a pre-sketch or a glyph. You get also included in the community for what's up. You get a full-size painting from me, an 18 by 24 painting of your energetic reading, either before or after. We can decide what you want. Daily live meditation that's recorded and put into the WhatsApp group. Coloring art template book, which I have published. It's by me. And a set of chakra crystals and also essential oil kit. Total market value, $43,122. And today's special offer is $34.56 instead of $39.99. So you save $543. And so yeah, that's the links will be in the chat. But actually in the recording you won't have that. So just reach out if you're interested. But it's only available for the next 2 days. And yeah, again, there's the transformation package that will actually jumpstart you. You will have results within a month. Absolutely. Q&A, really quick. I'll go through this with you and then I'll ask you if you have any. And here, we're actually at, 3 minutes. Here, let me just quickly tell you what I've got here. Because I wanted to answer these for you if you had these questions. So, do you need a guide? Not necessarily. You don't have to. I didn't. But it took a year and a half plus probably another 6 months to get to where I wanted to be. So not crying in the aisles of the grocery store is kind of a nice concept. So I encourage you to do that, but you don't have to. Nope. What if I'm already a healer or receiving healing or coaching? That's an awesome question too. Guess what? I don't do what other people do, actually. I don't. I've looked. I've asked. Nobody does exactly what I do. Some people do different facets of what I do. That's awesome. And, by the way, if you are a healer, you can use this with your people. How's that? How do I know if this will work for me? Very good question. And to be honest, I can't know. Nothing is guaranteed to be success, but if you follow what I teach you, I know for certain it will work for you. So it's only a matter of when. What if I can't afford it? Well, I get this question often, and I always ask you, what can you do? What is it that you can do? What is the value of getting to the end story? For my beautiful Penny friend, what she said was, if I'm not here for my kids, then that's a huge value in and of itself, and she was able to make it work for her. So we made it work. So if it's something that you're wanting and needing, you'll make it happen. I know you can and will. What if I want to do it myself? You absolutely can. Of course. It's a great question. I didn't do it myself. So yeah, you can get your transformation in 90 days. But before we close, again, here's all the things. And so here's the one program, and here's the second program. And yes, special offers, and again. So I just want to say thank you for being here. So look, I did this in almost exactly an hour. This is exactly what I was hoping to do for you today. And if you have any questions, here's my contact information. There's my $50 gift card if you'd like. to surf my shop. You're welcome to go look at that. And I really love and appreciate you for watching through the whole thing on a replay or here in person. Thank you so much for coming. And I will see you on the next social media or chat, and we can talk soon. Take care. Okay, let's